you want to know a bit of history of Barcelona in a funny way? Would you like to know who founded the city and a lot of interesting things that you can even imagine? In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you many exciting things about Barcelona's history. I am José Gómez, licensed guide of Barcelona. I have a small company called Looking Barcelona where I organize guided tours to discover this wonderful city. I leave my email in the description of the program. Write me. I would like to be your guide in Barcelona. So let me explain to you who were the first Barcelonans. They were the Romans who founded the city in the year 10 before Christ. And at first, it was a city where the Roman soldiers retired to. When they finished their professional careers, Rome gave them a piece of land and they dedicated themselves to cultivating vineyards to make wine. Yes. One day, people from Northern Europe began to come to the city. They were the Visigoths. So, little by little, they were expelling the Romans until they stayed with the city. They mixed with the locals and gradually they became the new Barcelonans. But one day the Arabs, who were trying to conquer many territories, came to the city. And after a great battle, they stayed with it. So the city was completely destroyed and they had to rebuild it again. In the 9th century, the French came and kicked out the Arabs and they settled in the city. His boss was Carlomagno. By the way, he had achieved a great empire throughout Europe. Carlomagno put a friend of him to govern the city. And little by little, this count began to adapt to the city. He loved the climate, the food, the olive oil, the wine. So he built a big palace and he stayed in the city for the rest of his life. So during the Middle Ages, around 12th century, many things happened in the city. It was around just 12th, 13th century. A big cathedral was built. The city grew a lot. Hospitals and magnificent houses were built. Barcelonans traveled through the Mediterranean Sea trading. And one day, Christopher Columbus met here in Barcelona with a Spanish king because he wanted to explain to the king, Christopher Columbus, the incredible things that he had seen during his trip to America. In the 17th century, Napoleon's, the famous French conqueror, Napoleon's troops passed through the city. They settled in, but in the end, they were expelled by the locals. In the 19th century, the city grew a lot. A lot of textile factories were created, and some families made a lot of money, and they commissioned a group of great architects to build their houses. One of those architects was called Antoni Gaudí. In the 19th century, it was not easy for Barcelona, mainly the beginning of the century. So it was the terrible civil war from 1936 to 1939. The city was bombed by Italian troops. But after, in 1975, arrived our democracy, and after the Olympic Games were held in the city, and the city became one of the most important cities in the world, a very modern city. So, Barcelona, there were all kinds of periods, and if you are intrigued by Barcelona history, I recommend you my tour, a fascinating tour of 2 hours through the history of Barcelona. The tour is called Barcelona at a Glance. A tour where we will visit many things as the remains of the incredible Roman walls and the Roman Forum. The Roman Forum was the main square where Romans celebrate his political life there. So we will pass through the Plaza del Rey, where the Count of Barcelona had his palace, and he has his private church, the Church of Santa Agata. We will enter the interior of magnificent houses from 12th century. We will explore the patios and courtyards and the magnificent cathedral, the old site of the Cathedral of Santa Eulalias with 18th century of history. So this is a tour through many emotions, surprising stories, and beautiful sights. And also, we will explore the new Barcelona. We will talk about Gaudí. We will see the exterior of some of his houses as La Pedrera and Casa Baldó and other incredible houses. This tour is perfect to those who are intrigued by the history and want to understand the city better. So write me, I will inform you in more detail. So I leave you my email in the description of the program, and see you in the next chapter. And don't forget to be happy. Adios. Goodbye.